Thank you, Tessa. Good morning and welcome to the Recreation and Conservation's Office, where we are today reviewing and evaluating projects for the Washington Wildlife and Recreation Program's Water Access category. I am Marguerite Austin and I will serve as the moderator or facilitator for today's meeting. Applicants from across the state are presenting project proposals, and a team of volunteers and agency representatives are here to score and rank those projects. Once the ranked list is completed, it will be shared with the governor and the legislature in hopes of receiving funding to improve and enhance access sites across the state. To learn more about our recreation and conservation grants programs, please visit our website at www.rco.wa.gov. Thank you for joining us. We just have about 6 projects today, but we hope you will stay and listen and enjoy. Thank you. And good morning, Rachel. I think we are all here. Our first applicants are here and ready to go. So I am going to start their presentation. Erin, I'm going to turn over the remote to you. Now, why don't you try double clicking and see if you have control. Awesome. And then you might want to move your good deal.
Okay.
I've got my trusty little timer handy. And when you are ready, you may begin.
Okay, I'm ready. Good morning, everyone. I'm Erin McKay with Chelan County Natural Resource Department, and I'll be presenting the Cashmere Boat Ramp Side Channel Restoration Project. This is a partnership between the county and the city of Cashmere. The county is experienced with RCO grants and in-water restoration work in main stem rivers and permitting projects. So we're helping bring expertise and capacity to the city, but these are shared goals between the city and the county for this river access site. The project is located on the east side of the Cascades in central Washington. It's in the southern portion of Chelan County, and the project itself is located within the city limits of Cashmere, and it's along the lower Wenatchee River, which is a really popular river floating section starting up in Leavenworth and going down to Monitor and just above the confluence with the Columbia River in Wenatchee. This is a water access development project. It's designed to restore non-motorized water access and improve safety of the existing Cashmere boat ramp. As you can see, this is a very highly utilized and popular boat ramp with good facilities. But in the photo on the right, you can see that the boat ramp is located in a side channel off the main stem Wenatchee, and vegetation is growing up and trapping sediment at the inlet of the side channel, essentially starting to cut off flows into the side channel and making it a difficult and dangerous access from the river to the boat ramp. And then this is also leading to increased riparian impacts as river users try to find alternate ways to exit the river at this location. So project need and local priorities, why is this important and why do we need to do this? The overall project goal is to restore long-term access to the Kashmir boat ramp, functionality and safety-wise. So we're providing water access for non-motorized boating and paddling. The site is highly utilized by both locals and visitors for rafting, kayaking, tubing, supping, and just water access at lower flows. It's the most popular stretch of Class 3 whitewater in the state of Washington from Leavenworth to Kashmir. So folks come from all over to access this. It's the only site on the Wenatchee River with bathrooms, paved parking, and amenities nearby. It's a critical access point with great existing infrastructure. This ramp is also needed for emergency response and water rescue. It's the only ramp that's accessible by the Swiftwater Rescue boat that can go up and down the river to aid in life-saving rescues, which occur every year on the river. The county comprehensive plan recreation element does show river access as a very high priority for Chelan County citizens. In a recent public survey associated with the County Comprehensive Plan update with over 1,300 responses, river access was the second highest priority for Chelan County citizens. So we only expect use to continue to increase at this site. The project scope, the overall goal is boat ramp renovation and regrading of the side channel to establish long-term access and sustainability. So this photo shows an aerial view of the side channel and the location of the boat ramp, and you can see the vegetation growing in at the inlet, and you can imagine how difficult it is to come in off the main stem and access through that vegetation, and the water is getting shallower and shallower, and essentially is getting cut off at all but the highest flows. So the project scope involves boat ramp renovation and then a regrade of the side channel to establish long-term access and sustainability of the boat ramp in its current location. So the side channel will be regraded, including straightening the flow access at the channel so it doesn't have to make that sharp right-hand corner to get in. The material that's excavated from the side channel inlet will be replaced out onto the outside bar to better establish that bar, and then flow splitting features of boulders will be placed at the apex of that outside bar to establish and hydraulically maintain consistent flows into the side channel. Riparian vegetation will be repositioned out onto the outside bar by digging willow trenches and replanting that vegetation. And then the ramp improvements include re-engineered riprap placement for longevity and flagstone steps for safety for folks getting out of the water onto the ramp. These are preliminary 60% designs, engineered designs that have been completed by Recreation Engineering and Planning with input from the Department of Fish and Wildlife. And also just reiterating that this will provide long-term river access for non-motorized recreation. Use is expected to increase at the site, but if this project is not implemented, the use will not be compatible with the conditions. Site suitability, there was a feasibility study in 2024 to determine options for boat ramp relocation, but the current location is the most suitable site due to existing infrastructure. There just isn't a better site for a ramp, and then we want to utilize the existing infrastructure that's there. This site protects natural features, provides key recreation access, and provides a hardened point for accessing the river, which prevents damage to other riparian areas. It also provides a unique opportunity to benefit endangered salmonid species by increasing the duration of flows to the side channel, which is utilized for juvenile rearing life stage. So the design goal is to hydraulically maintain the side channel. And again, if this project were not implemented, the site would continue to deteriorate and the boat ramp would become extremely hazardous or completely unusable. Project design fit. So the project, again, is designed to create hydraulic conditions that will reduce aggradation at the inlet, So the goal is to sustain boat ramp access. The project won't change existing site uses or require more management. The existing use is already heavy. It's really designed to promote long-term sustainability. Oops, the project. I was asked to provide a quote from the engineer since we're working within certain hydraulic conditions already. And so the engineer said, during typical flow years, we expect increased flow to maintain the channel, and we don't anticipate deposition. We expect the project to function well for accessing the boat ramp for up to 3 decades. And from WDFW, from their letter of support, they say, maintaining and improving this access is critical to sustainably managing recreational use in the area. In addition, the project will benefit ESA-listed fish species. The project design budget is based on those 60% engineered designs. It includes final design and permitting, and we can start immediately with final designs and permitting. We've already got the 60% designs and we're poised to move forward with starting. We've already had conversations with permitting entities, so we're ready to start immediately, and construction would be expected in 2028. We are asking for $343,000 from the WWRP Water Access Program. And then this cost estimate does include contingency for knowing that it will be two years out likely before we implement construction. Project engagement. So the city of Kashmir and the county have worked with local outfitters and recreation groups to get feedback over the past few years. In fact, it's those groups that have been expressing concern over deteriorating conditions for years. So it's those interactions that have led to this project. We've had site visits with engineers, permitting agencies, and river users. This is a photo of Steve with the City of Kashmir and WDFW and the project engineer from Recreation Engineering Planning looking at the issue. There have been community meetings led by American Whitewater. I'll go to the community. The local recreation community, as I said, has been key in identifying the project need. And then American Whitewater has been really instrumental too in helping organize local recreation groups and kind of bringing a larger recreation group backing to this project. So there's been community meetings and opportunities for the public to provide input on design. And then project engagement and partnerships. We've got multiple letters of support from American Whitewater, from WDFW, and we've also had funding match commitments from Chelan County Lodging Tax, the City of Kashmir, and Chelan Douglas Regional Port Authority. Sustainability. The overall project is restore sustainability of the Kashmir boat ramp. It only has short-term impacts during construction, but since the site already exists, we're not creating more impact with this project. We're renovating an existing site. Ecologically, this project reduces impacts of riparian trampling as it concentrates use in a hardened area that will have good access. It improves side channel connectivity for fish habitat. In this photo, you can see the channel drying out later in the summer. It redistributes vegetation to the outside bar and prevents impact of creating a new boat ramp in a completely different area. Socially, this project encourages river recreation for all and enjoyment of parks and open space. It also promotes opportunities for people who would not otherwise be able to engage in river recreation safely because there are a lot of commercial outfitters that bring customers down the river. So it's a great opportunity for people to experience whitewater safely. Economically, this is a really critical factor. The economic tourism draw of river recreation for Kashmir and the Wenatchee Valley in general is huge, and it's very, very important for our county and for the city of Kashmir that this river access site remain viable. Diversity of recreational uses, all kinds, tubing, kayaking, all kinds of floating craft. whitewater rafting, paddleboarding. It also provides access for people who just want to get to the water. During low flows, there are a lot of families that walk down this boat ramp and play on the beach that forms there once water goes down. And cost efficiencies, significant investments have already been made. The designs have been paid for by Chelan County lodging tax. And then we have the local match that will be provided locally by the county and city. And then we're seeking match through the ALEA grant program. That is it.
Thank you very much. Questions and comments from team members? And we'll start with you, Sharon.
Hi there, great presentation. Just a quick question for you. Do you have any other funding sources or donations from any of the user groups or supporters?
The main one would be that the commercial outfitters do pay a permit fee, and those permit fees are utilized to help maintain the regular maintenance of the boat ramp and the site. So that's kind of a long-term funding source for helping with the maintenance.
Thank you.
Other questions? So Erin, looks like you covered everything. I think they're all awake. They usually get up earlier than I do. So thank you very much. We hope to be able to share the results with you in early September. I think right after September 9, we should be able to share the results. So thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. This is such an important project for us, and we appreciate the opportunity. And yeah, thanks for all of your time that you guys have all put into helping guide us through this process.
Very good.
Thanks, Steve.
Okay, next up is, I think, Vashon, our district. Tim, are you here?
I'm here.
Awesome.
Got a little light in my face. Good to be here.
Oh, yeah, there you go. A little sunshine where you are.
A little bit. I don't have a blind on the window. I do, clearly, because there's.
Got it.
I don't have a, what are they called?
Okay,
I've got a cardboard box because my kid made a, I don't know, mural. What's up there?
Got it. I am going to turn remote over to you. There you are. And hang on just 1 second. Okay, now I've taken my hands off of it. So double click and make sure you have control. And then maybe use your arrow keys to go back.
That's it. My arrows. Yeah.
There you go. Good job. Okay, hang on just 1 moment. And I am going to reset my timer and you may begin.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. My name is Tim Stapleton. I'm the Executive Director here at the Vashon Park District on tiny Vashon Island. If you haven't been there, come see us. I'm here to talk to you today about a really important project to us called Tramp Harbor Dock. It's a truly beloved Vashon landmark. It was built in 1939 by Standard Oil to bring petroleum to the island. And then in 1985, it was gifted to King County for public use, primarily as a fishing pier. And then along the way in the late 90s, Vashon Park District took it over for management and continued that until a few years ago when it closed. Vashon Island, it's located in the Puget Sound region of Washington here in the state in unincorporated King County. So pretty much west of Seattle. The dock is on the east side of the island, about at the midpoint. Vashon Island's is the primary service area, but the dock, when it was open, it's heavily used by off-islanders. People would come from pretty far away to experience that overwater fishing and squidding. Some of our immigrant communities. Project goals. are to replace the current fishing pier, which is pretty obvious due to its continued failure over the years. But also we have a renewed lease with DNR that requires us to stop grease leaching from the pylons, provide light to the tidelands below, and shorten the dock due to tribal rights to the point higher geoduck tract, which our dock crosses pretty significantly. Replacing the pier also addresses structural integrity concerns, which we'll talk a little bit about. We wish to replace the beach access stairs to improve public access to aquatic recreation, improve parking that includes ADA access, and really be true to our park district's sustainability goals. So mentioned replacing the dock restores fishing and other recreational uses mentioned there. Tramp Harbor Dock is the only fishing pier on Vashon Island, and it is currently closed. There's not a lot of these types of piers in Puget Sound, period, anymore, because they can be really difficult to do well. And when you have a current footprint, you can replace and result in no net loss. So it's a pretty important dock to try to do right and sustainable this next go around. For public use versus to bring oil products onto the island. A condition assessment was conducted in 2015, which found that 11 of the 98 piles had deteriorated and posed safety concerns. The bulkhead is failing. Bulkhead, sorry. We typically refer to it as armoring in the DNR days, but as you can see there, pretty straightforward. You don't have to be an engineer to know that that's failing. You can see the loopholes in it. Parking is informal at best on sort of the best day. It's along the road in that little area you can see on the screen. And these steps, I think, speak for themselves. They don't look like they go down to a Thailand. They look like they go someplace pretty dangerous. Other relevant inventory in the service area include Dockton Marina, it's newly renovated by King County Parks. But it's a boat marina. There's not hardly any, if any, fishing at all out there. It's pretty limited. And then Quartermaster Yacht Club, which is a yacht club. So not a whole lot of members of a yacht club these days, but they do pretty well, but it's fee-based and private. Other outdoor recreation opportunities in the service area include a couple of ball field complexes, a kayak center, which we run, a skate park, the only free skate park in the state, I think, maybe the country, indoor. A playground, a swimming pool, and a horse park, which is pretty unique. There's about eight other beach access parks where fishing is allowed onshore, but the gap here is really over water marine environment experience. It brings a unique kind of fishing to play that's very popular, as well as allows for access for folks with mobility issues to get out and experience fishing, birding, other wildlife watching, kind of, you name it, meditation, whatever people love to do on a pier, which is pretty expensive. In terms of the scope, so the existing natural features is about 308 feet of public shoreline that we manage. This includes, the current pier, which we've been talking about, a picnic area, a small parking area to the north of the pier, plus about 300 feet of road parking, which is pretty sketchy sometimes. A bulkhead and stairs to the beach constructed of creosote timber and rusted metal. Proposed elements, though, would bring in a new pier made of steel grating or some type of fiberglass grating deck and concrete piles. Several delineated parking spots that would include ADA spots, a new bulkhead to replace the one that's failing, new aluminum stairs to the beach, and a bicycle rack for cycling stopover. I'll mention this later, but this is on a bus route as well, which is really, really cool on a small island to have a bus stop right there along the opportunity to access water. The purpose of the project is to improve public access to water recreation, meet the requirements of our DNR lease, and improve structural integrity, improve parking, and be true to what we want to be. We want to lead here on this island with environmental stewardship. Immediacy of threat. Well, the dock's currently closed, and parking is as this facility becomes more and more popular, it'd be pretty difficult to get everyone there that needs to be that isn't using public access. Acquiring the parcel to the south will provide opportunities to develop additional parking on a lot that's already developed. It has its own bulkhead and things like that. It already has a little fish parking area adjacent to it, as well as allow for development of dedicated water access, for folks who can pack down their kayaks and enter the water that way, away from folks fishing, where you can have conflict with fishing, not conflict, but people got to reel in so folks can get out and things like that, or they got to walk a good ways down the tideland to get in, to get away from those lines. So it's just a really clean way to spread out sort of access as people visit the site, and then make sure that everyone there is having the experience that they like as they recreate. So site suitability, improved parking enhances the recreational experience. I think we all talk a lot about parking lots and how we wish we didn't need them, but we still do as our public transit systems develop or built out. But especially for those who need ADA access, the site's on a public bus line, as I mentioned, and it's super accessible to cyclists. Due to the bus line, the fact that you can get on a ferry, you get on a bus anywhere in King County and get on the ferry for like $3.50, and then take the bus all the way to this dock. It's one of the most accessible rural overwater sites really in the state. It's pretty cool. The project also mitigates toxic leaching from the creosote pylons. I think everybody's pretty familiar with that, but thanks to the Washington State and RCO and the work that everyone does to try to eliminate that out there in our waters. It will allow for light penetration to the tideland below. It's really important for a number of reasons, particularly seagrass, which here on the island, we have areas that are really healthy and we have areas that are struggling a little bit. And this happens to be a place where there's a really healthy amount of seagrass that's thriving. This project it also pulls it out of the gooey duck tract, which I mentioned before, which is really important. And from a sediment investigation report, we know that the sediment disturbance for the project is without concern. The design aligns with need by restoring pier and beach access with sustainable building materials and location by replacing a deep water pier, again, which are becoming more and more rare to be able to access, and by project scope by improving the water access structures themselves. So it's a pretty straightforward project. It's replacing a pier that people love and will use year-round into the night for sure. So the design addresses constraints. So this is still talking about fit. Constraints by meeting the requirements of our DNR lease. The design provides access for users of all abilities by improving our parking, which we continue to talk about, because for ADA access, that is an incredibly important component, and providing full ADA accessibility to the pier, which, as we know, when you build things accessible to everyone, they are truly accessible to everyone and easier to access for everyone. As we age, as we experience injury, or as we live a life with different mobility issues than others. It's a pretty beautiful project. Continuing on fit. So this is an overlay. You can see sort of the lighter, wider, it doesn't really go out at a 90 degree, but maybe like 115 degree, maybe, part of the proposed pier that's there currently. And so that goes to the gooey duck tract, as I talked about. So that'll be removed and brought out of that, which gets this pier out of infringing on the tribal treaty rights of Puyallup tribe and others, as well as, you can't see it super well in this picture, but it includes, the development of parking lot and replacement of that. Okay. We had a very thorough project budget developed by KPFF. This is the pier, by the way. I don't know how to do fancy backgrounds, but I can put up a piece of cardboard pretty easily. And, we think it's going to be in the $3.2 million range. It's permit ready. So, in the time that it takes to get permits, we'll be able to get started. My background includes a pretty large stint with the Department of Fish and Wildlife, where I overseen permitting, or the hydraulic permits here in this part of the state. So at least I do know that that permit will be pretty easy to get. The rest of them shouldn't be a problem either. It's a self-mitigating project, as they say in the biz. So project engagements, listen, we did it all. it's an island, so and it's small, so you got to make sure you got posters out in the community and send out postcards and run things in the Beachcomber, which is a beautiful magazine you can check out online, or come to the island and visit us and pick up a paper at the grocery. This is we're engaging with our residents, the marinas that are here, the yacht club is here, and folks that control the state buoy list. So going back to 2015, we've done surveys, we've had community meetings, we've met with the Puyallup tribe at a tribal council meeting, and we continue these meetings through 2023 and really into 2025, where I just had one towards the end of that year. We've sort of the community is ready to replace this dog, so we're kind of not going out and brought in big messaging anymore. We know what the community wants and we're ready to build it. But I still meet with a small group of folks who represent some of our partners regularly to talk about where we're at in the project, which is waiting to figure out funding.
So Tim, we are just about out of time, so move very quickly through
You got
it. Thanks,
you. Marguerite. So listen, how the community influence the project. They want access and they would like it to be sustainable, and we've accomplished that with our project design. That's how the community influenced the project. Puyallup tribe made us aware of the fact that it infringed on their treaty rights, and we're taking care of that in this project. We have partners. The Vashon Parks Foundation's committed to raising $300,000 in support of this project. The Vashon Bird Alliance has been a big part of it. The Heritage Museum, we want to support our sustainability goals that we set for ourselves, and I think we can lead in that space in the community. Some of the ecological factors here, we're getting rid of the creosote, we're bringing in light, we're putting in pylons that connect as artificial reefs, and we're doing this in a way that it will be climate resilient. This has got, these things are super social settings. We want to make it accessible to everyone and free to access, which we are. There's no fees to access our park properties. We want to take the timber planks, get them to salvage. We're not asking for a financial contribution from our community. We're trying to do this with partnerships and with the state. We're funded through a levy, so we have plenty of funds to maintain this in perpetuity. We just inherited one in pretty bad shape. Tons of recreational uses out there. Think about a pier, think about water. You can do it: scuba, fishing, birding, wildlife watching. Photography is really popular out there still. We're waiting to identify the right grant to apply for this fall with King County Parks, or through King County, to support the project. We're making large investments as a park district. And then this slide kind of recaps those two major things. Thank you for your time. Wrapped it up tight.
Thank you, Tim. Questions and comments from team members? We'll start with you, Maddie.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for sharing this with us this morning. Can you just kind of talk through the acquisition piece a little bit more? I didn't realize like halfway through that this was also an acquisition project. I'm a little confused on how that kind of relates to your overall development. Can you kind of just chat through that a little bit?
Yeah, the property is just south of us, and it's just a wasted property right there for someone to own. It would benefit community access a ton. Right now with the pier, what we experienced before it closed is a ton of use. This thing is constantly full of people, from people walking in the morning all the way to the squitters who come out at night. So what we need with that property for is to both utilize some of its current development and add parking there, because it's built just like ours in this picture on the screen, where there's this little carve out into the tideland for water access that we can dedicate towards sort of the kayaking and the canoeing and things like that. So as the fishers and birders are a few hundred feet on the pier, they're not running into those regular conflicts that you see with fishing lines out, or disturbing some of the wildlife they're working at or looking at or observing or fishing for right there. So it really makes this beautiful project. I'm sorry I apologize, I don't have a photo in it other than the parcel viewer one, but it's a crucial part of the project.
So Tim, is the property in this photo?
Yeah, so the edge of the property is there. So you can see that light orange line to the south, Marguerite.
This down here?
Yeah, it goes out, and there's another sort of cut out that's similar to the one just north of the dock. Down there.
Okay,
That people have been using for ad hoc parking and access for 100 years anyways. And so it kind of brings it into a sustainable use. What's the tying all these projects together?
Thank you.
It's all the only public ownership for legal access is the park district, which is just that parcel there.
okay, Kim.
Hi, I also had the acquisition question. So if you don't acquire that property, you wouldn't have added sort of beachfront area for expanding the recreation and parking, right? Or is
Yeah,
it
if we don't acquire that property, we're creating the same unsustainable situation as before, where parking on that, you can see in the photo that's on the screen, there isn't a curb to pull over to. So you've got like half a quarter of the lane blocked and people driving around it, all hours of the day and night.
Yeah, and the other question I have has to do with very similar structure to questioning is like, if this project doesn't get done, most likely because of how aging these infrastructures are, you probably lose all these recreation that's currently provided. I mean, beachcombing, fishing, and all of that would sort
Yeah.
of stop without.
It's all, sorry, Ken. Yeah, it's all lost because that bulkhead that runs down through there is pretty tall. And so to access it, you have to be pretty nimble, able to get down there. The only step access is through this bulkhead, and we'll build another one at the acquisition site to kind of, like I said, I think it's really important to separate these uses because you just have peak of popularity of times to come out and do kayaking, canoeing, and fishing, and they overlap greatly, frankly. And so we kind of have these dedicated spots. It also allows us to enhance our signage where we know, okay, folks are probably going to use this one to go down and shellfish, and we have really healthy seagrass. We really need to make sure folks know how to do that sustainably in the right way there. And then again, the fishing and access.
Thank you, Sharon.
Hey, Tim, just go back. You said you had match from a group on this. Could you repeat what you said?
Yeah, sure. Sorry for having the rest there at the end. The Vashon Park Foundation is working to raise $300,000 in support of the project, and they're doing a great job. I think they're in the $54,000 range right now, and I have no doubt they'll get there.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Janet.
Sorry, if I'm being a bit dense here, but what happens now? I mean, are people down on that beach? Are they
Folks that can. So if you go at probably about 1,000 feet north, the road begins to lose elevation, and you can walk in on that side and access the shoreline. There is
And
no
how
overwater or fishing.
how popular is that right now? I mean, do people do that?
People do that, yeah. If you go down there in the morning on a nice day, you probably see several dozen, up to 50 probably.
And people can put their kayaks in there.
They could, yeah. If you can, so the elevation out there is really important to understand. So as you go, like I said, as you go south or as you go north, it drops. As you go south, there's an isthmus there, and the bulkhead just runs all the way around. And I'm sure that folks can do that if you're able-bodied enough. But yeah, up there on the north side, yes, you can access with kayaks. It's just it's not legal parking. It's on private property.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Other questions? Go ahead, Matt.
Morning, Tim. So just to be
Morning,
clear, morning. Just to be clear, the dock is closed currently. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's currently closed.
Okay. Is at some point do you lose the grandfather nature of the pier? Meaning, if it sits abandoned for a decade or something, do you lose the right to rebuild that structure? Because you see pilings all around Puget Sound with nothing built on it. So at what point can we not get this back?
When it falls, I think when it falls, you come into a very challenging permitting place because your permits are essentially going to require the concept of this no net loss, that you build the project and you're not causing damage to the environment without additional mitigation in kind, of which there isn't in kind mitigation around there. So it's really important that this gets replaced while it's still there. So when we apply for our permits to our permitting bodies, we're able to say what is there now is creosote seeping. We can remove that and replace something that self-mitigates. We remove something worse than what we're putting in. And that makes it kind of a permitting slam dunk and a quick process to get going, which is why I'm so excited that we're permit ready. But if it falls in, then you're talking about a different project. Then we're trying to fund its removal because that is going to increase the amount of creosote that's soaking into that local environment there. And once it's gone, you just don't see these things successfully permitted anymore without large mitigation, which we don't have on the island.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Tim. We have run out of time on this project. So
Yeah, thank you all for the
we
questions.
hope to be able to share the results with you after September 9.
All right. Y'all have a great day. Enjoy this. I miss the days when I used to do it. We'll see you. Don't forget to like and subscribe there on YouTube.
Okay, up next is Penn Met. And I think Allie is here to present that one. Oh, there you are, Allie.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm going to take our mouse. Okay, so now, Allie, why don't you double click and see do you have control? Then you might try moving a slide forward.
Let's see.
Okay, so now double click.
Let me try one more time.
Let me see, can I hang on a second? Let me see if there's something I can do to help here. And by the way, if you want me to, I can just move them for you if you want to just say next.
All right. If I can't figure this out, then we will do that.
Okay, so are you working on a computer with a keyboard and mouse?
I am.
Okay, so now try double clicking. Now try using the arrows on your keyboard to move it back.
All right. I am not.
Okay, hang on a second. Let me share with you again, Allie, because.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Okay, now try. I see you moving it. Okay.
Okay, got it. Okay, thank you.
All right.
Thank you for bearing with me.
Okay, I have restarted my clock, so you may begin.
Thank you so much. Good morning. My name is Allie Busich. I am the Executive Director of the Peninsula Metropolitan Park District. This grant application seeks funding for the acquisition of the Hallstrom property. This is a 14.4 acre undeveloped waterfront parcel on Colvos Passage in Gig Harbor, Washington. The primary goal of this project is to secure high quality water access for the community. Acquiring this property will expand Penn Met Park's network of natural parks, protect a beautiful stretch of undeveloped shoreline, and create a new public space centered around passive recreation and water access. The property is located in Pierce County in Washington State near Gig Harbor, Washington, south of Seattle and west of Tacoma, shown on this map and the regional location marked with a red dot. Penn Met Park's service area is shown on the right with a red star indicating the target property location. The maps to the left show the site in more detail, extending between Hallstrom Drive on the west and Colvos Passage on the east. The acquisition is composed of 2 parcels. Outdoor recreation on the Gig Harbor Peninsula presently includes Penmet Parks, City of Gig Harbor Parks, and Kopachuk State Park. While there are currently 5 parks with similar saltwater access throughout the service area, the 50 square mile park system, this area is relatively underserved by public beach access. The map shows the Hallstrom property in the upper right. It's marked with a red star. This location highlights a clear geographic gap in recreation opportunities and shoreline access between Sunrise Beach just to the south and Maplewood to the north. In addition to the gap in services, there is a very high demand in our community for limited water access. Acquiring this site helps to fill that gap by adding new public water access, beach exploration, and walking and hiking trails. These are priorities that are in direct alignment with our community's priorities and district goals. Water access at this location would serve people across the Gig Harbor Peninsula. This site offers excellent potential for human-powered watercraft access and sits between 2 Kitsap Peninsula National Water Trails sites located on Colvos Passage. Those are Sunrise Beach Park to the south and the Olalla boat launch and lagoon to the north, enhancing regional connectivity for paddlers and other non-motorized craft users. Penmet Parks has conducted extensive outreach to listen and learn about our community's priorities for parks and recreation. Input received during our 5-year strategic plan development process, as well as our parks, recreation, and open space planning process, told us that our community values preserving our natural resources and balancing preservation with providing active recreation opportunities for everyone to enjoy. During PRO's plan outreach, our community's 2 top priorities were walking and hiking trails and water access. As part of this grant-funded project, Penmet Parks will acquire the property and demolish the existing cabin shown in the lower center of this photo, consistent with RCO requirements for demolition of structures. Penmet Parks crews will install signage and complete maintenance work on the existing trails to prepare the site for public access. A preliminary conceptual site plan has been developed and included with our grant application. However, this project is focused on acquiring the property for water access, and any future development of the site would be completed as a separate project. Existing informal trails connect the upland forest to the shoreline and to a nearby cul-de-sac, which is in the left-hand side of this red boundary line. These routes would be cleared, stabilized, and improved. Access from the cul-de-sac could potentially be used to launch human-powered craft as it's located nearer to the beach. Once demolition, trail work, and signage installation are complete, the property will open for passive outdoor recreation, including beach access, wildlife viewing, and nature exploration. Given the deteriorated condition of the shoreline cabin, demolition is anticipated to be straightforward and completed quickly. Removing the beach cabin also provides environmental benefit. Existing informal forest and beach trails will be cleared and improved by Penmet Parks maintenance staff with volunteer support. This site offers a wonderful opportunity to include in the Parks Appreciation Day volunteer effort, allowing community participation at a new neighborhood park. This property is currently listed for sale on the Northwest MLS. This is the first time it's been on the market in over 90 years. It's located on Colvos Passage with 351 feet of prime saltwater access and sweeping views of Colvos Passage, Vashon Island, Point Defiance, and the Vashon Ferry. The proposed project permanently conserves high-value shoreline and forested upland that is presently for sale and zoned for residential development. The rustic cabin on the beach that would be demolished by Penmet Parks could provide some development value for others. Pierce County has indicated that this property could be divided into 3 lots from its current 2, providing potential further development opportunity. It's easily accessed from Hallstrom Drive with secondary access down 125th Street to a cul-de-sac at 3rd Avenue Court Northwest, which is located near the beach. There's a community of Waterview homes with large lots located in this area. The lot shown as under development on this slide is currently in permitting with Pierce County. Waterfront property like this in the Gig Harbor area is highly sought after. The owners are excited about the property potentially becoming a park. However, the property remains listed and is at risk of being purchased at any time. The acquisition by PennMet Parks would provide substantial environmental benefit by permanently conserving high-value shoreline that is currently for sale and vulnerable to residential development. Acquisition prevents future shoreline modification, vegetation clearing, and bluff disturbance, ensuring the site remains protected as parkland rather than converted to private use. The lower parcel is designated Conservancy and Aquatic under Pierce County shoreline classifications, reflecting its ecological sensitivity and importance for nearshore habitat. Public ownership ensures long-term stewardship consistent with these designations. There are presently no comparable saltwater parcels for sale in this geographic location. If the project is not funded, the opportunity to provide permanent public access in a location that has a gap in recreational facilities will be lost. The top three photos show existing water view and waterfront homes to the south of the site, as discussed on the previous slide. The lower photos show homes on the north side of the acquisition property. The site is very well suited for a new district park with water access and a beautiful beach on Colvos Passage. The property extends all the way out to extreme low tide and is followed by state-owned aquatic lands and a geoduck tract as confirmed by the Department of Natural Resources. The site is well-sized and suited for the intended use and will provide visitors with many water access opportunities, including picnicking, wildlife viewing, hiking, beach walking, educational programming, non-motorized watercraft launching, with a potential hand launch drop-off point close to the beach at the cul-de-sac, and nature enjoyment. The beach is easily accessed from the upland portion of the property and offers exceptional opportunities for walking, exploring, and experiencing the area's natural habitat and marine life. During our site visit, we were first greeted by deer in the forested uplands, and after reaching the shoreline, watched these orcas playing just offshore. The property will provide walking trails for people of all ages, and the beautiful scenery and vegetation and variety of wildlife provides a high-quality recreational experience. It creates opportunities to expand PennMet Park's current offerings of outdoor environmental education programs, as well as programs provided through partnerships with Harbor Wild Watch and other community partners. Following acquisition, design of future improvements would allow for the opportunity to create ADA accessible places. The property is ideally located and has multiple potential access points, including from Hallstrom Drive, 125th Street Northwest, 126th Street Northwest, and from the cul-de-sac located off 3rd Avenue Court Northwest, closer to the beach. This slide shows a future conceptual design for the park. Although the parking area and amenities aren't part of this acquisition project, this drawing shows how the site could easily be enhanced in the future while maintaining its natural features. The property from Hallstrom Drive to Colvos Passage is about 1,800 feet. There is an elevation of 240 feet at Hallstrom Drive and about 10 feet at the beach. Meandering trails would provide a comfortable walk to the beach. ADA accessible parking and picnic areas are envisioned for the upland site, with the incorporation of accessible trails wherever possible. The lower site, which is shown in Plan View B on this slide, includes a parking area for drop-off of human-powered watercraft and ADA accessible parking with a trail to an ADA viewpoint. Community input and priorities are reflected in the district's 5-year strategic plan and our comprehensive PROS plan. Multiple outreach methods were used to generate community input, including presentations to the park board, user focus group sessions, stakeholder interviews, a public open house, and a community-wide statistically valid survey. Ongoing engagement throughout the PROS planning process was also available through a customized ADA accessible and multilingual website. Survey data was weighted by age and ethnicity within the district to help ensure appropriate resident representation of residents across different demographics in the sample. Using U.S. Census Bureau data, the population, age, and race distributions in the total sample were adjusted to match the actual population profile of the district more closely. Community input received during the PROS planning process clearly demonstrated a strong desire for additional waterfront access and expanded walking and hiking opportunities. In response, PennMet Parks has established a dedicated acquisition fund within our capital improvement plan, ensuring annual allocations are set aside that position the district to act on strategic opportunities such as this one. We've received many letters of support for the acquisition of this waterfront property for public access. It's been vetted with community members and groups and local government, state legislature, and conservation organizations. PennMet Parks presently works with Great Peninsula Conservancy and the Pierce Conservation District to conserve land for parks. We have formal partnership agreements in place with Peninsula School District and Harbor Wild Watch. We work closely with community partners and share goals for betterment and cost-efficient maintenance of our parks. Many hours of volunteer labor go into maintaining our parks, along with volunteer environmental monitoring efforts by Harbor Wild Watch, which is shown in the left photo here. PennMet Parks maintenance staff and volunteers will provide cost-effective trail development on this acquisition property by installing signage and clearing trails in lieu of contracting this work. Thank you very much for your time this morning. We are excited about this opportunity to enhance public water access within our district. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ali. Questions and comments from team members? And we'll start with Garrett.
Good morning, Ali. Great presentation, super beautiful spot. I know, and we talked about this a little in technical review too, maintenance for the long-term picture. I know you're budgeting for an acquisition fund. How does this fit into your overall, if this is added to your park district, what does that mean for your maintenance and staffing? Please and thank you.
Thank you. We are primarily funded by a levy as a metropolitan park district, so we would fold this into our existing annual maintenance budget. As part of our PROS planning process, our most current PROS plan, we really dove deep into our maintenance annual funding and maintenance standards and have established some targets that we're working towards, and this property would be incorporated into that.
And Janet.
Hi, thanks for really, it looks beautiful. Can you say anything about anticipated use of this? How much the other parks are used, north and south, and what you would anticipate here? Or would it just be all those neighbors in the nice houses using it?
That's a great question. So we know that water access is one of our community's top priorities, along with hiking and hiking trails. Those are the two top priorities. Our current beach parks that are spread throughout the district are popular. Some are more popular than others, but we do see visitors from across really not just the Gig Harbor Peninsula, but farther a larger area in Pierce County, Kitsap County. We don't track visitation numbers specifically at these parks, but we know that saltwater access is in demand. So I would expect that to be the case for this location as well.
Okay, thank you.
And Matt.
Ali, great job. You have more referral recommendation letters than anyone we've had so far. So there's a lot of people supporting this. Once people get to the beach here, can they walk north and south, or is that forbidden?
I would have to verify, but my assumption would be that would be private land, and so it would be restricted to the public area here.
Okay.
The 350 feet.
Other questions or comments? Well, thank you very much, Ali. Hopefully,
thank you so much.
After September 9, we'll be able to let you know the results.
Thank you again for your time and consideration. I really appreciate it.
All right. I'm going to end this show, and team members, you have earned yourself a break. So our next project proposal is up at 10:15. Enjoy your few minutes away. Looks like everybody is back. Good deal. Welcome back from your break. And we are going to start up with Snohomish County happens to have a couple of projects. And I think our first one up is Martha Lake.
All right.
And Carol, are you presenting this one?
Yeah.
Okay, going to see about. Now try double clicking and see if you have control of the mouse. Good job. Good deal. My trusty little timer is here. So you may begin.
Excellent. Well, just turn mine on as well. I'm Carol Olfs with Snohomish County Parks, and I'm pleased to present our Martha Lake Park Improvements Project. Martha Lake Park is located in southwest Snohomish County in an urban unincorporated area between the cities of Linwood, Everett, and Mill Creek. Established in 1992, the 6-acre park offers waterfront recreation and the only public access to Martha Lake. This image shows the grant project elements, which are focused in the park's central water access area. The project has two main goals: swim area renovation and removing aging facilities to replace them with safer, more flexible gathering spaces. At the top right of this image, you can see the major road, which sits on a retaining wall that's over 20 feet tall, casting a shadow behind those trees. As a result of the site topography, the park's central swimming area feels secluded. In an inventory of 78 parks within 5 miles of Martha Lake, only 6 provide water access. Martha Lake Park is one of only 2 with a designated swimming beach. Within 2 miles, 5 parks exist, but Martha Lake Park is the only one to provide water access. And there are only 3 public play areas to serve approximately 60,000 residents. The park offers popular swimming beach, play area, fishing, and picnic shelters. It has many amenities, but is also challenged by septhead concerns and safety issues exacerbated by topography. Outreach showed that community members expressed public safety concerns that even led them to avoid the park at times. Even with some of those concerns, the park received approximately 245,000 annual visitors, with more than 50,000 in July alone. Anticipated use of the park is expected to grow significantly as the site is within a half-mile of a future light rail station. Light rail planning identifies station areas as priorities for open space, recreation, and transportation access. This project was identified in 2024 when community input clarified the top priorities for improving the park. The planning process resulted in a conceptual design that will replace most of the park's aging facilities in phases, with the central swim area as the first step to increase access and expand capacity for water-based recreation at this urban park. The project is listed as a priority in Snohomish County's comprehensive plan, the park visioning plan, and our capital improvement program. To orient the grant scope, this map shows where the project will take place on the site. To access the central swimming area from the parking lot on the east side, visitors walk on paved paths past fishing piers, picnic shelters, a playground, and a restroom. Within the grant project area, I'll walk through the 6 key existing features. Here's the existing swim beach, including a timber retaining wall and the swim dock beyond. An image from the other side of the swim beach shows the existing amenities, and you can also see the timber retaining wall is beginning to fail. There's an overgrown ADA swim entry area and the swim dock with patched decking. The community feedback strongly supported keeping the dock in its current location and renovating it. East of the swim dock is a remote section that was intended as a hand carry boat launch. Unfortunately, with its location far from the parking lot and tucked behind shoreline vegetation, it's a frequent location for vandalism. Most visitors launch their paddleboards and kayaks directly from the swim beach. A former playground was removed at the end of its service life, resulting in a retaining wall, a dead-end sidewalk,
and underused space hidden from visibility, which has been the site of public safety concerns. You can also see the underused picnic shelter in the background beneath the trees. This is the project's concept plan, which shows 5 key proposed scope elements. The first is an expanded swim beach, which would remove the failing timber wall and build a concrete seat wall farther back into the site. The swim dock would be updated with graded decking and new railings. We'll remove the vandalized boat launch and restore wetland habitat along the shoreline. And the project would add paved pathways for connected circulation, formalizing the existing user-created dirt trails. The old playground and underused picnic shelter would be removed and replaced with gently sloping lawn where people can rest and gather before, during, and after swimming, fishing, or boating. To put this project in context within future phases of park renovation, this image shows the long-term vision for the site. While phase 1 focuses on the central swimming area, future phases will expand the play area and fishing piers on the east side and incorporate a new hand-carry boat launch. On the west side, a main feature will be the accessible entrance path that will navigate visitors down that 20-foot elevation change and into the park. This site is well suited for the proposed improvements. Existing physical conditions align with the project goals, allowing recreation upgrades while improving habitat. The park already balances designated water access points with preservation of natural shoreline areas, and this project further strengthens that balance. As we review the project design, I'll re-emphasize how it fits with the need, location, and scope through each of the project goals. With goal 1, we'll completely revamp the swim area. The community loves swimming at this park, and it's a main draw for visitors, but they need a larger beach entry area. A concrete seat wall will provide seating and move it farther inland, which will reduce shoreline impacts. We'll improve the ADA entry ramp by removing vegetation and replacing the handrail to address updated universal access standards for lakefront swimming areas. Building a system of connected paved pathways will improve access and create looped walking trail that the community desires. By paving the existing informal footpaths, the swim area will connect to the existing multi-use path and create a continuous accessible circuit. The swim dock renovation design will address aging materials by replacing outdated wood decking with durable, slip-resistant, graded surfacing and new railings. The dock updated materials will be safer, require lower maintenance, and improve habitat with increased light penetration, which supports aquatic vegetation, fish habitat, and water quality. Because we're not changing the footprint of the dock, we hope to avoid permitting delays. The second goal is to address safety concerns by removing aging facilities. And replacing them with more flexible gathering spaces. The vandalized dock portion along the shoreline will be replaced with native wetland vegetation to restore shoreline habitat. We'll remove the old playground and picnic shelter, restoring that area with gently sloping lawn and meadow seed. The expanded open meadow and flexible lawn space will be a place for people to rest and gather before, during, and after they participate in water activities, which will further increase access and capacity at the park. The project budget reflects a strategic first phase and was developed using a recent shoreline park construction bids. To allow our modest budget to maximize its impact, the project scope focuses on updating those central amenities and avoiding critical areas. Based on our experience with other waterfront parks, we're confident the focused scope can be completed within the grant period. We are prepared to begin site studies and design as soon as possible so that we can be ready for construction by 2028. The project engagement methods included multiple rounds of outreach to community as part of the concept plan process. We mailed over 1,900 postcards to addresses within 1/2 mile of the park, posted flyers, held open houses, and conducted online surveys. More than 200 people provided input, primarily regular park users from the 3 closest zip codes. This map shows the community census tracts around the park and how they rank in open space equity metrics using RCO's statewide priority mapping tool. Directly across the street from the park, these walkable nearby neighborhoods are a darker color on the map, which means they have higher need for green space, high social vulnerability, and poorer health outcomes. These are the community members directly engaged by the outreach methods, and this project responds to their needs. Community engagement highlighted several priorities which influenced the project design and resulted in targeting the central swim area improvements as the first phase of implementation. Safety was the top concern, as well as maintaining lake access, keeping mature trees, and creating accessible walkways. The project design addresses these key requests by updating the spaces that encourage more frequent year-round visitors and emphasizes compatible water access, recreation, and gathering spaces, so there's more space to do the activities that folks love. Advance. There we go. The key collaboration partners for this project include light rail planning teams, lake health environmental groups, and neighboring cities. Sustainability is reflected in the park's project design, construction, and long-term operational strategy. For ecological considerations, we focus on avoiding impacts to critical areas and improving habitat function by choosing landscaping for native species. Being located on bike and transit routes, the project encourages access via multimodal transportation. Project provides access to popular waterfront activities with an emphasis on universal access and long-term use. It strengthens recreational amenities that provide social opportunities which contribute to health, community connection, and environmental appreciation. And as a community destination with flexible gathering spaces, the site has greater capacity to host events and contribute to local tourism. The project also fits with fiscal sustainability goals of the Parks Division because there are staffing efficiencies when we make improvements to a site that's already serviced by our park rangers and maintenance teams. Martha Lake Park supports a broad range of compatible water access recreation opportunities, including swimming, boating, floating, resting, viewing, walking, picnicking, playing, and fishing. While this project does not have documented donations or private grants, the scope contains many cost efficiencies that will reduce government costs. And as a renovation of an existing park, the project will benefit from nearby infrastructure, including existing parking, trails, fishing piers, and playground. And that concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
We will start our questions with Garrett.
Good morning. Thank you. Really cool spot. Awesome project. For your partnerships, you talked about how there's no grants and that type of thing coming in. Do you have partnerships to support and sustain this, or will all the operations and maintenance fall on Snowco's shoulders? I guess that's, is it a team effort?
Yeah, well, at this time, it is a Snohomish County park, and so we do currently do all of the maintenance and operations, and so we would plan to continue that. Now, this park is located within the municipal urban growth areas of two cities, Linwood and Mill Creek. And Mill Creek did provide a letter of support specifically to say, because they're kind of assuming, or they're starting to consider potential annexations. And whenever that happens, we make sure that we're really communicating well with those cities. So in this case, that's a good example of how we'll be talking with them about these improvements to make sure that they also would agree with our approach and whatnot, and be happy to take that on in the future if they were to annex. But in the short term, which is kind of what we're focused on as far as the renovation, it would be still on Snohomish County, but because it's an active existing park, we're fully capable and ready to take that on.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Other questions or comments? Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Carol, thanks for the nice presentation. Were you able to pick up how many people you estimate would start to use this park if conditions are better? Or conversely, how many are not using it because of the condition that it's in?
I was able to consider that a little bit based on sort of if we had more of the like accessible walking trails and better visual connection between the site and other amenities, like a better playground or whatnot, that would, draw people around more year-round activity, which I think would address the major concerns of like how maybe this place feels unsafe when there's not that many people around. Now it is closed in the evenings and at nighttime. So, the park is open dawn to dusk. And it's very popular in the summer. So I think that though these changes would bring in that year-round visitors, and we weren't exactly able to estimate how many more people, but especially with that light rail coming and the development across the street, I think it's only going to get more and more populous and more visitors. So thank you. Hard to guess exactly how many extra people would come. But I think we did try to address the concerns that people raised that said that we're keeping them away from it.
So we'll go with Rachel and then Sharon.
Hey, thanks for the great presentation, Carol. My question was regarding the budget, and I apologize if I missed it, but I was curious how the budget was developed.
Yeah, we used cost estimates and bids that have come in from recent other Snohomish County waterfront recreation projects. So we've just had a recent other dock project, and we have a couple other waterfront projects going on right now. So we have recent construction bids, and so we use those as well as our landscape architecture and design teams in-house.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Sharon, and then Janet.
Hi there, good presentation. Just could you do me a favor and just call out a couple of those cost efficiencies that you said were embedded in the project?
Sure. I think specifically, looking at this plan here or this aerial image in front of us, really making the most of the existing site without trying to do like a full remodel of like tear it all down, completely rebuild it. It's really being strategic about redoing the dock in its current footprint, like very strategically trying to do habitat improvements where we were going to remove the failing sea wall or area and just kind of moving that back into the site. So I think it's really about working within the footprint, a smaller footprint to make it like more efficient to work with, and then also trying to be really strategic on not doing more than biting off more than like a more streamlined permit review process could achieve. So that's the strategy. I think is there's really that smaller footprint, being thoughtful about what we're replacing, not just saying like rip it out, put in a new one. Let's completely think outside the box here. We want to keep the things that people loved and really be strategic and cost effective with those improvements.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Janet.
Hi, thanks very much. This was you mentioned vandalism a number of times, and I remember it from your first presentation. What, and I know you're knocking down this and that were sort of vandal magnets, but are you going to put in lighting or anything? How are you addressing this?
Yeah, it does already have some lighting, especially along the multi-use path. And in the parking lots, we also do have we've been trying, it takes a long time to change, trends like that. So over the past 5 years, we've tried different things that have led to increased, like positive outcomes. So for example, trimming back some of this vegetation that causes inability to see like farther in front of you. We think that this project, especially by creating these like multi-use paths that are paved that don't have like lead to dead ends, that this will be a lot more people through the park more often, and that's a big way that'll help create positive impressions. We do have there's somebody who lives on site, like a caretaker residence, and having somebody there all the time just in case is like a helpful thing, just like a presence in the park. And then, yeah, we just have our rangers that patrol the area, and they've said that over the past 5 years, we've definitely seen improvements, but as far as, people's perception of whether a place is safe or not, even if you see trending that it's going better, I think that renovating it and making it look like it's new and improved and inviting is a big way to help address that as well.
Thank you.
Any last questions or comments? Thank you very much, Carol. Going to shut this one down. And then we will move on to Kayak Point, I think. Yeah. And are you presenting this one as well?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I am letting go of the mouse.
Okay.
Good job. And
That big. Okay.
I'm resetting my clock.
Okay. One more back. Okay. I'm ready. Here we go.
Go.
Thank you. I'm Carol Olfs with Snohomish County Parks, and I'm pleased to present our Kayak Point Park Day Use Area Improvements Phase 3 project. So Kayak Point is located on Port Susan in the Puget Sound, north of Everett and south of Stanwood. 690-acre park includes 3,300 feet of shoreline. The day use area includes playground, boat launch, fishing pier, picnic shelters, restrooms, and parking. Upland areas include a campground and ranger station. The surrounding area is suburban neighborhoods, a disc golf course, rural residential, and Tulalip Tribes reservation lands. Is that on your screen, Marguerite? Okay.
If you go down to the bottom in your, you're clicking on the taskbar. That's
my gosh, terrible. How do you change? Okay. All right, we'll keep going. Use my arrows. Here we go. Oh God. Where are we? Jeez.
Yeah,
okay.
Can you use your keyboard arrows?
I guess so.
That
all right.
Works better.
Thank you. Established in 1972, the park is a major regional destination for waterfront recreation, and the day use area is 12 acres, which is about the same size as 9 football fields. The park has been renovated in phases since 2016, and each phase has benefited from RCO funding. This project application is to complete the final phase of renovation, phase 3, shown in the red outline. The grant will focus on the northern portion of the park, about 3.5 acres of water access features. The project goals are to remove the existing seawall and build a natural backshore berm to improve resilience and enhance long-term access to the waterfront, and to relocate 10 existing picnic shelters away from the shoreline and connect them with accessible paths to water access points and existing parking area. These regional maps show water access and boat launch locations in the area, and there's a large gap around Kayak Point. The closest sites are more than 30 minutes away on Camano and Whidbey Islands, making the site a key regional water access location. The count for Snohomish County's water access sites is 27, while neighboring counties have 2 to 3 times as many. As a result of this limited inventory, the site is especially critical to regional water access. Kayak Point is the most visited park in this county system. It supports day use, camping, shelter rentals, events, and festivals. Approximately 300,000 visitors came to the park last year, with more than 60,000 estimated to have come in July. The renovation project is identified in Snohomish County's comprehensive plan, the Park and Rec Visioning Plan, and the Capital Improvement Program. While the park has continued to gain popularity over its 50 years, the site is under threat from climate change impacts. The renovation project was identified as an opportunity to improve resilience. Another way the need for these improvements was known is that the site serves as a longstanding educational and research site supporting school programs, field studies, and coastal monitoring efforts. slides. To describe the project scope, first we'll look at the existing site features. In the center left is the newly improved Phase 1 parking lot. Through the grass are temporary gravel footpaths. The shoreline is a mix of lawn and native and invasive plants. The existing picnic shelters are built almost at the beach, and only one of those shelters has an ADA accessible path. The seawall runs mostly below grade along this whole shoreline, about 800 feet. And there are water trail campsites in the lawn to the north and a gravel overflow parking area, which currently does not have stormwater treatment or accessible pathways. This plan shows the proposed relocation of the 10 picnic shelters. They would be moved back away from the shoreline to make space for the backshore berm, which will protect the site improvements and water access elements. You can see in the picture on the left that what a high tide and storm damage looks like for these shelters in their current location. This plan shows the proposed locations of the paved pathways in dark blue and gravel beach access points in light blue. The picture on the left is one of those access points constructed in Phase 1. The plan also includes an accessible overlook designed for those that can't maneuver over the beach logs to still get close to the beach. The pathways will provide universal access to the shelters and the parking lot while connecting the northern amenities with the rest of the park. The site is well suited for the intended recreational uses, which keep the picnic shelters that the community loves, but relocates them to allow for shoreline protection and accessible paths between each amenity. As we review the project design, I'll reiterate the 2 project goals. The first goal is to soften the shoreline to mitigate for sea level rise impacts. This is an image of high tide on a stormy day, which inundated the park with seawater. Coastal scientists anticipate a 2100 sea level rise projection of an additional 4 feet for the site. And when you look at this NOAA sea level rise viewer, we can see how the day use area would be significantly impacted by 4 feet. So we designed a hybrid shoreline stabilization strategy that'll build a naturalistic soft shoreline berm that provides protection for the site. These cross sections show how the berm's 5 feet of added elevation, along with the relocation of the recreation amenities, provides a balance between recreation and environmental processes and makes the site resilient for long-term water access. In the picture to the left, the current condition is mown grasses and a steep grade between the new parking lot and the beach with the picnic shelters. The image on the right is a portion of the backshore berm built in Phase 1, with berm plantings and shade trees that will grow over time. The site does have an existing below-grade seawall along the entire northern portion of the site, and because the site will now be protected by a new backshore berm, the beach also does have a pattern of accretion. The project will remove about 800 feet of hard armoring. The backshore berm will be planted and protected from pedestrians as shown in this image in Phase 1. The second project goal is to create accessible and appropriate recreation opportunities. This plan shows those 10 relocated picnic shelters, new fire pits, walking paths, and overlook. The proposed pathways will connect to the existing parking lot and park amenities. The viewpoint is going to look like the one currently being constructed in Phase 2, which is scheduled to be completed this fall. The Phase 3 project has 3 designated water access paths proposed, which will provide opportunities to get down to the beach while protecting the new shoreline plantings until they are established. And lastly, the water trail campsites will be renovated with landscaping and access to park amenities. These campsites are important for kayakers and non-motorized boaters because of Kayak Point's location in the center of the Cascadia Marine Trail, a nationally recognized route from Olympia to Canada that traces early American trade routes in the Puget Sound region. The budget was informed by 2 previous phases of construction projects. And the previous projects have allowed us to ensure that we have realistic expectations for what would be needed to construct the northern and final portion. Because the project is fully designed and construction ready, we believe it could be completed immediately and the park reopened by summer 2028. The project's public outreach process began in 2015 and continued through 2019 with ongoing stakeholder engagement. Because the project has been partially constructed, we've benefited from ongoing community involvement whenever a local newspaper writes up an article or our partners post about the project to their networks. In particular, we've met on site with many teachers, planners, and regulators to discuss this project as a precedent for soft shoreline armoring and coastal restoration. Public meetings early in the process identified priorities that have been included in the design and reiterated throughout the phased process. Coordination has spanned over a decade and has included tribes, state, federal, and local governments. As a regional destination, the park serves users from across Snohomish County and beyond. In particular, the engagement focused on marine restoration organizations, and we've worked in partnership with dozens of neighbors and local community groups. As I mentioned, those early public meetings and design workshops set the stage for the community priorities that carried this project through multiple phases of implementation. This idea map shows many phase 3 scope items that were highlighted during early outreach, including picnicking, socializing, walking, habitat, storm damage, and addressing the bulkhead. Community vision emphasized core values for this park's renovation to focus on waterfront recreation, Puget Sound sustainability, pedestrian-friendly design, and access to diverse waterfront facilities. This vision was referenced throughout the long design process, and the project maintained community preferences while negotiating complex permitting requirements. For example, to avoid impacts, the storm berm's toe had to shift back to begin above the high tide line. And the shelters had to shift as well, but we maintained all 10 shelters, knowing how much they're valued by visitors. And when the layout change meant that we had to move them out of their alignment, we were able to make space for the accessible path to connect the entire area. With a long-standing project like this one, we're honored to continue partnerships with stakeholders and agencies to complete this vision for the project. We look forward to completing what we set out to achieve, and this important phase 3 project will allow us to complete that vision. As for sustainability, the ecological benefits of the project include updates that will positively affect beach processes, avoid negative impacts to critical areas, provide stormwater treatment, address climate resiliency, and provide planting restoration along the shoreline. The social benefits are the park's ability to provide public access to waterfront activities, ADA and universal access, and long-term access to high-valued waterfront for future generations. The economic benefits include promoting local tourism and efficient long-term operations with an existing staffed park. Kayak Point provides many compatible types of water access opportunities for a wide variety of recreational uses, including boating, paddleboarding, camping, hiking, playing, kayaking, resting, relaxing, and gathering. While we don't have documented donations or private grants for this project, there are many efficiencies built into the design and the sequencing of the construction phases, including completed permits and a focused scope to complete the project. And that concludes this presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Carol. Questions or comments from team members? Sharon, we'll start with you.
A great presentation. I was actually looking forward to this project. It sounds like a lot of good work is going to be going on there, and I don't have any questions. So just thanks for moving this project forward. Did a good job. Thank you.
Thank you. Lenore, you're next.
Yes, thank you. Could you just touch on a little more of the in sustainability as far as resources for plants, building materials, that kind of thing?
Yeah, so we are going to reuse the existing shelters. That's one of our sustainable strategies. So we're going to use the roofs, which you can see here in this picture, and like the trusses from the existing 10 shelters. And so we're just going to have to pour new foundations for the new shelters, and then we can reuse the posts and the roofs. That's the plan. We're also bringing in materials that are pretty much, I guess, we can't really dictate the means and methods, but we've specified materials that are very naturalistic to the shoreline environment. And so far in the first two phases. A lot of the fill that's come in to fill the site has been locally sourced within the Snohomish County or like very nearby county areas. Trying to think. So we have the pavement. We don't have a ton of different types of materials besides these shelters, the paths, the plantings for sure. So we did design shoreline plantings that will increase habitat that are suitable for the different elevations and potential inundation during storms. So I would say that we were very thoughtful, and we've been able to learn from the previous phases on what's going to like last the most over time with those plantings. So far, I guess we've only had like 3 years to judge it, but I think that those have been some of our sustainable choices in materials.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments about this project? Well, Carol, thank you very much. And thank you, Sharon and Rich, for joining, even though you didn't say very much.
Do you have anything to add, Sharon?
Supporting.
I'll jump in. I'm Sharon Walker. I'm Parks Director. Just really thanks to Carol and the whole team for reviewing this and the review committee. I know you look at so many different projects, but we're especially excited about this one just because it's the last phase of this just Keystone Park for us. It's well loved, and this upgrade has been a long time coming. So it's really exciting to see it finally getting to the end of that. So thank you all.
Thank you very much. And hopefully, Carol, we will be able to share the results with you shortly after September 9. So thank you. All right, team members, we are ready for, I think, our next project proposal. And we are going to go to the other side of the state. And see what Nick is going to share with us today. Hi, Nick.
Hi, Marguerite. Hi, everybody.
Okay, Nick, I'm taking my hand off the mouse and to give you a chance to see if you can use your arrows to go forward. Then go back. Good job. I am resetting my clock.
Great.
I think team members are ready. So you may begin.
All right. Well, hello, everybody. My name is Nick Hammond. I am with the City of Spokane Parks and Recreation Division here to present the Iron Bridge River Gateway project to you today. The project goal is to develop one new non-motorized recreational water access point to the Spokane River within Spokane's University District, significantly enhancing river access upstream of the Spokane Falls. We request RCO grant funding from the WWRP water access category in the amount of $965,000, which is approximately 48% of the estimated project cost. Additional grant funds are being requested through the ALEA program, and remaining matching funds are being appropriated through local capital dollars. The project is located in the city of Spokane, Washington's second most populous city, and at the time of the 2020 census, our population was approximately 229,000. The project site is within the east central portion of the city, within the Spokane's Logan neighborhood and University District along the river, which bisects the city of Spokane from east to west. The city of Spokane is a small part of a larger 111-mile Spokane River, and within the city, we focus on the urban stretch of the river. Within the city limits, there are 8 existing boat access points. There are also 2 distinct river reaches, upriver and downriver, which are separated by the Spokane Falls. The lower reach of the river is comprised of 4 well-developed launches. These launches are all downstream of the Spokane Falls. This image shows the natural portion of the Spokane Falls. These are a dramatic feature in our downtown, which traditionally represent the barrier which salmon could not pass. And just below those falls is the Monroe Street Dam, which further disconnects the lower and upper reaches of the Spokane River, creating a distinct character within each reach. The lower reach is characterized by high volume urban waterfall and whitewater rapids. Rapids can form at flows even above 10,000 CFS, and this is great water for rafting and fishing for red band and rainbow trout. As you can see here, the lower reach has received substantial previous investment in boat launches, with 4 new launches in the last decade, mostly used for canoe and kayak, rafting, and drifting. There is good boat access along the lower reach of the river. While the lower reach features well-developed launches accessing whitewater, the upper reach above Spokane Falls is accessed by 4 existing launches in various condition and has received significantly less investment than the lower reach. The project site is located on the upper reach to improve access to this area. The upper reach is characterized by relatively calm, flat water, suitable for leisure and recreational paddling. This image is a short paddle downstream from the proposed access point. The riverbank locations are almost all previously disturbed, with many still overgrown with either non-native vegetation or eroding due to social river access and their slope. This is an image of one of the 4 existing boat access points above the Spokane Falls. This is the last point you can take a boat out before encountering the falls themselves. At the uppermost point of the upper reach, which this is at the uppermost point of the upper reach, which due to its close proximity to an active hydroelectric facility is often closed to the public for dam safety, and it just does not provide reliable access. The nearest access to the project site is commonly used but unimproved river access point used by individuals and organized groups. The access is relatively flat. However, the adjoining parking area requires paid parking, which creates a paywall barrier for users and prohibits full access. Though the amount of use in this location shows the need for water access on the upper reach is high. Overall, the upper reach of the Spokane River, water access is generally quite limited, both physically and visually, leaving river users scrambling for water access via social trails. Now, the need for additional improved boat access points along this stretch of the river is high and is identified in 2 adopted local plans. The 2022 adopted Park Master Plan specifically identified developing additional water access points as a Tier 1 community priority, and the upriver reach was identified as the river stretch most in need of additional access. The South Logan TOD plan, adopted in 2024, called to maximize riverfront connections, open space improvements, and access to the river. Specifically, it recommended working with the Parks Department and partners to improve the west side of the Iron Bridge to activate and enhance the area along the Centennial Trail. The Logan neighborhood, which hosts the project site, is designated as our highest social and environmental equity priority area within the city. This classification reflects significant environmental pollution, pronounced environmental health disparity, and longstanding socioeconomic challenge. Logan is an underserved neighborhood with limited access to the river, highlighting the critical need for water access improvements in this area. Now, the project proposes improving the 1 new non-motorized boat launch for the use of canoers, kayakers, stand-up paddleboarders, and small rafts to deliver on those previous plan recommendations and to better meet community desire. The proposed Iron Bridge water access is located next to the Iron Bridge and the Centennial Trail. It's in a legacy industrial zone, gradually converting to collegiate and residential use. This is a view of that Iron Bridge, the namesake for the boat access, which is an existing local trail immediately adjacent to the new proposed access. The proposed access is represented by the star in the image. This is another view of that access from on the Iron Bridge Trail. Looking at the water access location from the bridge, you can see it is heavily vegetated today, mostly with non-native invasive willow, but also with some native species. Looking north from the proposed launch, you can see the existing Centennial Trail, which will provide excellent pedestrian access to the future access point. And as you stand at that launch, with the proposed water access point and turn around, you can see the adjacent road and Centennial Trail as well. The proposed project is within a 5-minute walk of existing multifamily houses and nearby retail businesses. Pictured here is No Lie Brewing, the upper reach of which the river is inaccessible to both the housing and the retail businesses in this location. The proposed water access will allow for organizations and individuals to safely access this flat stretch of the river, allowing more use like this full moon float organized by the Spokane River Keeper and launched from the unimproved river access near the project. When assessing this stretch of the riverbank for new river access points, the proposed location was chosen due to the slope not being too steep, its proximity to housing and business, its central location within the reach, and which makes it supremely suitable for an access point for kayaks, canoes, and paddleboards uses for both long and short water trips. The banks of the river in this location are already being traversed, and adding an improved water access ramp protects adjacent bank habitat from erosion while accommodating desired access. Proximity to local businesses such as Noli offer the opportunity for river users to pull out of the river at this location for food and drink. Now, regarding the design, first and foremost, the project would provide a 15-foot wide access ramp graded to the slope of approximately 11%, with an additional meandering ADA accessible trail graded at a comfortable 5% slope. The primary ramp is gated to limit vehicular back-down access to authorized vendors, providers, and first responders, but still allow for the easy carry from boats from the nearby parking. A closer look shows the solid red line highlighting the main pedestrian route to the launch, which is ADA accessible. The project also disconnects Superior Avenue, the roadway, to create 2 new cul-de-sacs with approximately 18 car parks, including space for trailers. This redesign increases parking capacity, slows vehicle speed, and improves pedestrian safety by eliminating conflict with through traffic. If parking stalls are full, parallel parking is available both north and south of this location on street. The project enhances connection to both the Centennial and Iron Bridge trails, enhancing connectivity to apartment homes and regional trails. Also provided is a dedicated pedestrian trail across Superior Avenue. The project removes non-native vegetation and replaces the vegetation with suitable endemic planting as recommended by the project biologist. The highlighted areas in red indicate areas of landscape enhancement. The city has worked with professional landscape architects, a biologist, and city park planning staff to generate project cost. The budget includes both construction and soft costs. Project designs and costs include agency comment from Shoreline Conditional Use Permit from DOE, further increasing cost estimate accuracy. If grant funding is awarded, we expect the project to be bid ready by the end of 2027, with construction to begin in 2028. Now, after the extremely successful Riverfront Park Bond in Spokane's downtown, Parks completed a new extensive public outreach process for the updated park plan. Recognizing the need for improving park service throughout the city, we asked the community at large to weigh in with their priorities, connecting with over 5,300 citizens in 26 plus different engagement opportunities. Engagement was conducted in 7 different languages, divided by a statistically valid survey, online mapping, conventional open houses, neighborhood meetings, and even pop-up events. The process even won the Community Involvement Award from the Washington State chapter of the American Planning Association. And the resulting plan identified developing water access points as a first-tier community priority for investment in the park system. Since the completion of that citywide plan, the Spokane River Forum and City Parks have had several community meetings and numerous stakeholder meetings to develop this project. Through these meetings, the community both informed the program elements within the project and the physical location of those elements, yielding the current plan. We've also begun initial consultation with the Spokane Tribe of Indians and Department of Ecology. The project was initiated by the Spokane River Forum and is being collaboratively implemented by the River Forum, the University District, and Spokane Parks. It is also supported by Avista Utilities, the Logan Neighborhood Council, Gonzaga University, and numerous local citizens. Regarding ecological sustainability, our team biologist, Haley Aldrich, has thoroughly evaluated the site, noting the need for the removal of invasive species and replanting of native species in close proximity to the launch, which is included as a part of this project. Additionally, this reach of the river is accessed in numerous locations not suited for or approved for access, resulting in significant damage to shoreline vegetation. By providing improved access, nearby social access points can be decommissioned and restored. Regarding social and economic sustainability, there are a number of retail businesses, hotels, and restaurants which are within 5 to 15 minutes of this location, and it is a common desire for users to paddle a bit and then grab some food. So this launch enhances infrastructure to support water recreation and these businesses. The boat access point provides excellent access for a number of non-motorized watercraft, canoe, kayak, paddleboard, and rafts for pleasure paddles, fishing, and water tourism. The improvement will also open views from the nearby Centennial and Iron Bridge trails and will allow for picnicking near the adjacent roadway. To date, the River Forum and the University District have funded all design work and environmental study for this project, totaling approximately $50,000. This is due to the existing partnership between the Forum, University District, and Parks, and is also part of an ongoing program of investment in opening community access to the Spokane River. This is the city's next investment in opening up access to this wonderful community resource. The citizens of Spokane have long desired access to their river more fully. And over the past decade, Spokane Parks and our partners have made great progress to improve this access. While that access is excellent along the lower reach of the river, the upper reach is in significant need of similar access improvements. Local funds have been secured, and with the grant funding provided by RCO, we look forward to delivering this water access improvement to our community. Thank you very much.
Great timing, Nick. Questions and comments from team members. We'll start with you, Lenore.
Thank you. I didn't catch in your project design, are you permit ready for this project?
We are working through the environmental permit process now. We're roughly at a 30% design level, so we would be advancing 2 permits and have those secured by the end of 2027 for construction in 2028. So I anticipate permit submittal in next spring.
Thank you.
Other questions or comments? Nick, that's a very interesting design of how you've laid out the parking area. Has Spokane used that in other places to slow down traffic by just kind of coming in from both sides?
I would say it's an uncommon technique, Marguerite, here. More commonly, we see like a speed table or a grade change. Working with our traffic group, though, this is a low volume residential roadway here. And so they were very comfortable with vacating a portion of that roadway. And as long as we allow fire access to come through that area. And so the way we have it set up is a couple of cul-de-sacs with a mountable curb that then has a couple of bollards that the fire department could yank and get through there. So we worked through pre-development conference with those folks, and they're all comfortable with the approach. But yeah, it is atypical, but we're excited about it. Really, it's just to try to find the most amount of parking we can get in an area that's sort of squeezed for land.
And then how do you sign it? Are there signs in different places to show people the 2 options for access?
Yeah, so it will be signed, a block or 2 away, the specifics of which we have not submitted with this application. We're sort of still working through. I think the thing that folks use locally is the Spokane River Access Trail, which is actually a sign that will be installed at this location, and the River Forum maintains that, and they sort of direct you to where to go and access from this location. So access should be quite easy from both the north and the south. It's really about knowing it's there, and that will be the River Forum's role.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Other questions from team members? Well, thank you for adding those additional photos. It was much easier to see and understand where and how this all works together. And we hope to be able to share results with you around just a little after September 9. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Appreciate you.
I'm sorry, Nick. I have to take back the mouse. So
by all means.
I'm going to, I was trying to remember to do it before. Okay, now we can both use our own. So thank you very much. Team members, I'm going to sign us off. For those of you who have been watching, you have been watching applicants come in and present projects for the Washington Wildlife and Recreation Program's Water Access category. We have completed our review of applications for this year, and these projects where our citizen volunteers and agency representatives have been scoring and ranking, the projects will be submitted to the Recreation and Conservation Funding Board for their approval, and then on to the governor and the legislature for funding. To learn more about the programs and projects that we offer, please visit the Recreation and Conservation Office's website at www.rco.wa.gov. Thank you for joining us. We hope you have a great rest of the day.